You can start, sir.
Okay, madam. Hello, children. Good evening, all of you. Okay. So, good evening, children. Once again, madam, is it audible and the screen is visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Disable annotation చేయండి సార్. మోర్ ఆప్షన్స్ లో మీకు ఉంటది. చూసుకున్నారా?
Okay. So, children, in the 6th class topic, the first chapter, our food, I think we completed and covered all the concepts. Okay. Once again, see this, the end slides of this, our food. Okay. So, this is the vegetable garden. I think we completed. Okay. Okay. In the 6th class, our food chapter, only a few points are there which are relating or regarding to the NMMS students. One of those key points is the materials required for preparing the food are called ingredients. Remember this point. And for cooking food, we need different types of ingredients. Why? Because different food items require different food items. One more, remember this point. And one more is methods of preparing food. Actually, we discussed about so many types of food. So, because of this reason, each and every food is prepared in different manner. So, I think we also discussed and we fill a table that boiling, steaming, fermentation, roasting, deep frying, shallow frying, chopping and mixing, cutting and mixing, like this. We discussed so many. So, method of preparing food is one of the important point to be comes in your examination. How the question pattern in your NMMS examination. They ask about the, for example, they give pulleys or groundnuts or peanuts. How these to be method of preparation. For example, we discussed about roasting of peanuts, like this, like eggs or boiling, steaming, like this. They asked the method of preparing food, or they may give the example and ask you about, write about the method of preparation. Okay. And one more is we get food from plants and animals. And about the plants, we discussed about the plants. Some plants we just consume the total plant. And in other plants and some other plants, we may consume some of the parts, either leaf, or stem, or fruits, or flowers, or some other things. Okay. So, one more thing is important, preservation of food. In the preservation of food itself, we discussed about some more important points. Whenever the food is prepared, it means either the pickles, sugar syrup, or some other salt or oil, like this. They may ask about the preservation of food, or the method of preservation of food, or the elements or the components or the chemicals used in the preservation of food. Okay. And one more thing, we discussed about condiments and dry fruits. Of course, these two are different things. Condiments are the different ingredients such as ilachi, cardamom, lavang, dalchin, biryani leaves, pepper, etc. Cashew nuts, almonds, kismis, these are the dry fruits. Okay, last one, preparation of food using vegetables and fruits is an art. This is called vegetable carving. Okay, so these 5 to 6 points are very important in your examination pattern in the 6th class. Okay, Next, let us discuss about the same 7th class topics for NMMS students. These are food components. This is all the first lesson in your 7th class. Now, students, all of you activate in your chat box. Yeah. Good evening once again, all of you. I think this is the 4th good evening. So what is your favorite food or dish? The previous day also we discussed about this. Is it right? What is your favorite dish? Come on, come to your chat box. Yesterday, yeah, biryani, oi, rice with potato, biryani, pizza, ice cream, chicken biryani. Okay, right. Pulhora, very good. Paneer. Okay, I'm observing the chat box, and moreover, potato curry, dal, potato fry. Okay. Is only your favorite food sufficient for you? It means, imagine if potato curry or chicken biryani or vegetables or potato fry is your favorite food. If he goes on eating the potato fry up to 7 days in the week, is it sufficient for you? Say yes or no? No. Okay, Hasinin, Naveen, okay, no, very good. Why? Because we require so many components, so many nutrients, so many food components. Okay. For this, we do not eat the similar or the same material, same food item throughout the week. What food do you eat every day? Think, why do you eat it? Why? Because to grasp many type or different type of nutrients to be consumed to our body. Why? Because we require so many types of components for our body, for our energy requirements. For this, we are taking different types of food items every day. Okay. One more small question. Do we need energy when we sleep? Why or why not? Do we need energy when we sleep? Yeah. Okay, yes. Yeah, I'm accepting with you. Why? Because imagine, even though we are sleeping, even though we are unconscious stage, not in conscious, but so many metabolic activities are going on in our body. Imagine our blood circulation system. Imagine about our respiratory system. What happened to our immune system, and what will happen to our total nervous system. So muscular system, so many systems are there in our body. All the systems, all the metabolic activities goes on functioning even though while we are sleeping. So because of this reason, for those metabolic activities are internal, external, we need energy. For these energy sources, we are eating or consuming food. Okay. So do you know that even while sleeping, we breathe and circulation of blood in our body goes on. So do you agree that we need energy even while sleeping? Yeah. Okay. So about the food components, a small questionnaire is there. Suppose you don't get food for lunch. How do you feel? Imagine you reach your school and after attending 4 periods, you are expecting a big lunch. Of course, your favorite potato or chicken biryani or biryani itself. But just now, your teacher or your mom announced that no lunch is today. How will you feel? Sick, hungry, tired. Oh, sick? Sick and hungry. Okay. One more thing. If you don't get anything for more than a day, how will you feel? Even one day, there is no food, not only lunch, but also evening snacks, but also evening dinner, night dinner. There is no food at all. What is your feeling? Okay. Lazy, very sick. Okay. If we do not get food for many days, what will happen? Why should we take food? Okay. And because of this reason, so many metabolic activities are taking place externally and internally in our body. We are doing so many things so that we require food. Okay. So listing out of food components. Why? Because when we are discussing about the food, so many types of food or varieties of food, so many food components are there in it. Just we are listing out the food components. Imagine you might have purchased so many types of food packets like milk powder, biscuits, chocolates, or any other ice cream packaged food. Collect some other food packets as well as like those chips, coffee, biscuits, etc., chocolates like this, as you like, and identify the different components present in them and record them in a tray. For example, see this packet. Here, some components are there. I think all of you, is this visible? Visible to you? Is it visible? Come on to chat. Yes. Okay. So see here, the left side nutrition information is there, and right side per 100 grams, how much of quantity. Okay. See here, proteins 44.5, carbohydrates 17.4, sugars 22, fats 18. So like this, so many food components are there in each and every food item. Okay. See here, in a milk powder, what are the components are there? For example, just I am leaving the full screen mode. Okay. So your proteins 44.5. Okay. What about the proteins? 44.5. What about the fats? Fat 18.1. Here 18.1. Is there any information about vitamins and minerals? No. What about the carbohydrates? 17.4. 17.4. So if there some sugar content is given, it is also comes under glucose and up to carbohydrates. We will discuss in detail that. Okay. So like this, so many food components are there in each and every food item. For example, we discuss about milk powder. That's it. So what are the components found in the biscuits? I think all of you, chais are your favorite food, are biscuits. Biscuits are chocolates. Whenever you purchase a biscuit packet, there are so many nutritional information is there on the biscuit wrapper or the packet paper. So I think you already know about these components of food. Of course, today onward, just what components are most common in your list. You just observe your packaged food packets. Do you find any vitamins and minerals in them? What are they? If any food packets are there in your hand, you observe and come into the chart. Or otherwise, where do you write salt and sugar? Why? Why? Because salt and sugar are the additional materials. They are not comes under our actual food components. Okay. Are there any food items with similar components? We will discuss later about the sugar. Why sugar will be discussed under carbohydrate? Why not other? So what are the essential components of food? See here, in the chapter, we discussed about these essential components. These are, our food consists of carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins and minerals. Beside these, water and fiber are also present. Of course, water is the normal and a common component in our most of the food items. So let us consider these carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins and minerals, and fiber. These are the essential components of food, and we call them nutrients. In simple term, we call them as nutrients. Okay, remember these 5: carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins and minerals, and fiber. Okay, right. Confirmation of presence of food components. Okay. Okay, whenever we are discussing about food components, how do we know? For example, we are taking one food component. So in that food component, our carbohydrates are present, either proteins are present, or which food component is present. How do we know? For that confirmation of presence of food components, some tests are given in this chapter. For this, take a sample of each food item in a test tube or simple a petri dish or a plate. Prepare the chemicals needed. Test the samples with them. Note down your observation in your notebook. Why? Because this food item having this food component and this food item having some other food component like this. Okay, let us discuss one by one. First with the starch. Starch in your higher classes, starch, sugars or glucoses or carbohydrates are having a similar meaning in higher class. Of course, they're having a different in the structure. Okay, so test for starch means test for carbohydrates. Our first food component. As we know, carbohydrates gives us instant energy. Because of this reason, we take glucoses whenever we are feeling lazy or dim, or we need energy. Preparation of dilute iodine solution. For example, all of you know about iodine chemical. In the previous days, whenever if any persons injured in the games, we may apply iodine coating. I think all of you know about iodine. Are aware of iodine or not? Iodine. Yeah, iodine. Okay. So take a test tube or a cup and add a few drops of iodine crystals to it. Children, here iodine is available in the form of crystals or iodine is available in the form of liquid also. Generally, in your school lab also you observed that iodine liquid. So if the liquid is available, there is no need to crystals and solution like this. Okay. Then dilute it with water till it becomes light yellow brown. Okay. When you are having crystals or pellets, you may add water. Even though you are having iodine liquid, even though you may take this iodine liquid and you may add some other water also to dilute it. Okay. Now take a sample of food item in the test tube. For example, imagine at the time of your midday meals, you take some rice, some boiled rice. Take a sample of that rice in the test tube or a plate. Add a few drops of iodine solution to that sample. See here in the picture. She already took one small petri dish like structure, a plate. Some boiled rice is there. And what she is doing? She is adding some drops of iodine. What happened? What will happen? Observe the change in color. Change in color. What do you find? If the substance turns dark blue or black, bluish black, it contains starch or it contains carbohydrates. Okay. For example, you take some flour or you take rice, raw rice or boiled rice or any flour. Generally, starch or carbohydrates are present. If you test with iodine, it will turn into bluish black in color. Okay. Now, remember one thing here. For the test of starch or carbohydrates, what chemical we require? Which chemical we require? To test the starch or carbohydrate, which chemical we require? Only one chemical. What is that? Iodine, right? Naveen, Harshita, okay? Iodine, right? Very good. Now, come to the second one, test for fats. Generally, fats or oils are similar terms. In higher classes, you will know in detail. Okay. Generally, in other normal or other terms, we can say when it is in the liquid form, it is oils. When it is solid form, we can say fat in simple terms up to your 8th class standard. Okay. So take some oil if it is in liquid, or if they are in solid, some sweet is there, or you take some groundnut seeds. Okay. Take a small quantity of each sample. Either it is sweet or it is a oil, some oil drops or groundnut seeds. Okay. Rub it gently on a piece of paper. You take one white paper. If it is color paper, if it is newspaper, it is not visible. The dust is not visible as it is. Preferable to take a white paper. Okay. If you take a white paper, you take the fat sample, either it is oil, groundnut, or sweet. You rub it gently on the paper. Take a paper, you rub it gently. Groundnut seeds, you just tap it and rub it on the paper. If the paper turns translucent, the substance contains fats. We also know whenever if any food item or breakfast item like vadas or something, if we pack in the white paper, what will happen? That white paper turns into translucent. కొద్దిగా అవతలి యువతలు కనపడే విధంగా మారుతుంది కదా, translucent. Okay. So it means that food item contains fats. Okay. So for these fats, we do not require any chemical. Simply, we just rub it on the white paper. If the paper turns translucent, the substance contains fats. Simple. Okay. Very good. Recall your past experience when you have eaten vada or any other food item on a paper plate. You might have noticed that paper plate turning translucent. If the paper plate, it means a paper turns into translucent. Why did the paper plate turn translucent? The reason for this, presence of fats in food items. Okay. Now come to the next one, test for proteins. As we know, pulses are the source for the proteins. For this, we require two chemicals. How many chemicals? Two chemicals. One is 2% copper sulfate solution and 10% sodium hydroxide solution. 2% means in 100, only 2 points are there in the copper sulfate. Sodium hydroxide 10% means in 100, only 10 points are there. Just imagine by that words. To make 2% copper sulfate solution, take 2 grams of copper sulfate in 100 ml of water. Remember this point. It means 2 grams for 100 ml. So that is 2% of copper sulfate solution. We prepared one solution, that is copper sulfate. In higher classes, you will know CuS4, SO4, this is the formula. Okay. To make 10% of sodium hydroxide solution, dissolve 10 grams of sodium hydroxide in 100 ml of water. In 100 ml of water, we are just taking only 10 grams. So that is 10% of sodium hydroxide solution. If the sodium hydroxide solution liquid is available, then no problem. If sodium hydroxide pellets, some crystals are available, remember that 6 pellets are equal to 1 gram. 10 grams means we just simply count 50 to 60 or 60 pellets, 60 crystals you may take to 10% of sodium hydroxide solution. Okay. Now we prepared two solutions, copper sulfate and sodium hydroxide solution. 2% copper sulfate, 10% sodium hydroxide solution. Okay. If the substance you wish to test is a solid, grind it into powder or paste. If it is a liquid, no problem. Okay. Take a little of, for example, pulses are there, pappulu, pappulu. తీసుకోవాలంటే కొంచెం పిండి చేయాలి, ఒక grind it. Take a little of it in the test tube or in a small plate and add 10 drops of water to the powder to stir well. You just make it a gel-like semi-liquid or semi-solid substance. Okay. Take 10 drops of this solution in a clean test tube and 2 drops of copper sulfate solution and 10 drops of sodium hydroxide solution to the test tube and shake well. Remember here one thing. See here in the diagram. In the test tube, we already took one sample. Which sample? Some protein sample is there. Some pulses sample is there. We took in the test tube. Okay. First of all, we add 2 drops of copper sulfate solution. Which copper sulfate? We already prepared 2% of copper sulfate solution. Right. Next, we add 10 drops of sodium hydroxide solution. We already prepared that. Okay. And after adding these two chemicals, you just shake it. Why? Because to mix these two chemicals with our sample. And observe the colors. What you observe here? Change of color to violet or purple confirms the presence of protein. If the test tube or if the sample present in the test tube turns into purple or violet, it indicates, oh, this sample having proteins. Okay. But remember here one thing. The above test shows the presence of components of food which are usually present in larger amounts as compared to others. As we know, any food item is there, that food item having not only the simple protein, simple carbohydrate, simple fats. So many components are there. But which component is in larger amount, that will show in our result. The quantity of each component varies from type to type. In rice, carbohydrates are more, whereas in oils, fats are present in more quantity. Of course, when we are taking fats, so many food components are there, but fats are more. In rice, in raw rice, remember, in raw rice or we can say parboiled rice, so many components are there. But which component is more? Carbohydrate is more. Okay. So testing of food items for carbohydrates. In rice, starch is present, proteins absent or fats absent. Why? Because this is more and more. Okay. Generally, every food item contains all the components of food. But some components may be more, while some may be less. We require different quantities of carbohydrates, proteins, and fats according to age and need of individuals. For example, children, remember this point, growing children like you require more and more proteins. Why? Because as you know, proteins are the building blocks of our body building. So when you want to grow according to your age, you must take excess of or enough proteins. What about the carbohydrates? They give instant energy. What about the fats? They give rich source of energy. Okay. And what about the vitamins, minerals, and fiber? We will learn it later. Okay. Vitamins and minerals, they may keep preventing us from the diseases, or they may induce our immune system. Okay. Growing children need more protein containing food like milk, meat, pulses, etc. Just now we discussed. We also need minute quantity of some other components are vitamins and minerals to keep us healthy. Okay. Roughages are dietary fibers, simply called as fibers. What are the fibers? Roughages are a kind of carbohydrates that our body fails to digest. Remember this point. Roughages does not digest in our body, even though we require roughages. Okay, some other persons raised their hands. Of course, I will give you choice later. Okay, wait for 5 minutes. Okay, right. So, imagine, even though roughages are not digested in our body, but we must take the roughages. Why? They help in free bowel movement in the digestive tract and prevent constipation. In higher classes, you will learn about how this fiber cleans your digestive system internally. Remember, from morning to evening, we are having so many activities. After evening, from school and evening, when you reach to the home, what you do? Automatically, you take a bath to clean your body externally. What about the internal surface? What about the internal of your stomach and intestine, small and large intestine? That is also to be cleaned. For that purpose, this fiber is essential. Okay. Imagine all these are for roughages or dietary fibers. When you take fruits, vegetables, leafy vegetables, okay, all these having a rich source of roughages. Roughages are a kind of carbohydrates that our body fails to digest. They help in free bowel movement in the digestive tract and prevent constipation. How dietary fibers help in preventing constipation? Just now we discussed. They are cleaning internal in our stomach, large and small intestines. Roughages or dietary fibers clean our food canal and prevent constipation. Generally, we have a habit of eating some fruits with peels. We eat banana without peel, but fruits like apples, grapes, etc. are eaten along with peels. Most of the vegetables are also used along with peels, like this bottle gourd, ridge gourd, some persons ridge gourd, they peel, and some persons cucumber and bottle gourd they use as this. Sometimes we make some special dishes like chutneys, etc. with peels also. Some persons, they may make some chutneys about ridge gourd or bottle gourd peels also. So don't peel or discard outer layer of fruits or vegetables. Why? Because they are rich in nutrients. Peel contain fiber which helps in digestion. But children, here off the record, you remember one thing. Nowadays, what's happening? Nowadays, most of the vegetables are preparing with applying rich of pesticides and fertilizers. So nowadays, we may discarding the peel is also one type of useful for our health. Okay, actually, whenever the vegetables which are came from the organic soils, organic crop fields, Their peels are very important, are having rich in nutrients. But nowadays, so much of they are applying so much of manure, so much of pesticides and fertilizers. Generally, we are peeling out the vegetables, and we are washing the vegetables or fruits with thoroughly with some salt and some other disinfectants. Okay. Water, as we know, water is very, 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 very important. During the summer, you also taking 1 or 2 water bottles to your class, to your school, in your school bag also. Remember, in the winter, 1 liter of bottle is enough as per your requirements. But nowadays, what about in the summer? We are taking 2 water bottles. Why? Because water is also an essential component needed by our body. We should drink sufficient water. Do you know we get water from fruits and vegetables also? Yes. When we are taking lemon, oranges, or vegetables like fruits like watermelon, papaya, pomegranate, they are rich source in water. Whenever we are taking vegetables like tomato, ridge gourd, and bottle gourd, they are also rich source of water. So most of the fruits and vegetables contain water. Okay. It means we are taking water in so many ways, by drinking, by the fruits, by the vegetables, by our food also. Okay. Importance of water. We must drink enough water so that our body functions properly. A simple experiment is there. Actually, that is not very important to your NMMS. But whenever you take a cotton, try to insert in a test tube, it is not possible. You just dip in the water and try insert in the test tube. Automatically, what will happen? It is easily enters into the test tube. It shows that if the food material, what we are consuming, mixes with the water, it also easily moves through your digestive tract or alimentary canal. Okay. So water is very, very, very important for our metabolic activities. So finally, we reached one conclusion that balanced diet. See here one thali, plate meals is appeared here. What is present here? Some vegetables, some fruits, pulses, curd, chapati, puri, or so many items are there. It shows the food that contains all the nutrients like carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins and minerals in a proper proportions. That is called as balanced diet, and everyone requires a balanced diet. Just now we discussed about boiled rice contain carbohydrates, pulses contain proteins, and these oils like a puri or the sweets contain fats, and the fruits and these vegetables contain vitamins, nutrients, minerals, and fiber. It means it is a complete balanced diet. Complete balanced diet. So make your diet a balanced one. At the starting at once, we discussed about what is your favorite. Biryani, potato curry, potato fry. Of course, you like potato fry. But in a week, in a span of 1 week or 7 days, you may take all these 5 food components. What are those? Carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins and nutrients, and fiber. Taking green salads and vegetables every day, taking foods like cereals, pulses, milk, etc. adequately, taking a bit of fat, oil or ghee or butter, etc. Eat seasonal fruits. Don't forget to supplement your daily diet with green salads and vegetables. So by this, we may make our diet as a balanced diet. For example, if a person favorite only chicken biryani, if he eats only chicken biryani for 7 days, what will happen? Indigestion, lack of fiber, so constipation, So much of problems are there. So make your diet as a balanced diet. Some persons thought that is our balanced diet means is it very cost? No. Scientists have found out that a balanced diet need not necessary to be costly. Everyone can afford it, even the poor. If a person eats dal, dal means pappu, protein is present. Rice, carbohydrate is present. Rotis, vitamins and minerals, some other items are present. Green vegetables, what will happen? Fiber, vitamins, minerals are present. So little oil and jaggery. You can see the bellam. Okay. Iron content is there. Little oil, fat content is there. So by simply we may make our diet as a balanced diet. It is not costly. Indeed, it is very, very, very cheap onwards. Okay. So by this, we may food requirements of the body are fulfilled. Okay. See here. Of course, we discussed in the previous class also. What are they? All they are dried fruits. Dry fruits. It means, for example, imagine grapes are there. In grapes, water content is full. What will happen if grapes are dried? Simply we can say kismis, dried grapes. Okay. Like this, all these are dry fruits. They are rich source for energy, vitamins, minerals. So many components and nutrients are there in dry fruits. Of course, there are some sort of costly. Okay. Do you know which foods are to be eaten moderately, adequately, plenty, and sparingly? ఏది తక్కువ తినాలి, ఏది ఎక్కువ తినాలి? Foods like cereals, pulses, milk, etc. should be taken adequately. తగినంతగా తీసుకోవాలి. Fruit, leafy vegetables, and other vegetables should be used in plenty. ఎంత ఎక్కువ మొత్తంలో దొరికితే అంత ఎక్కువ మొత్తంలో తీసుకోవాలి. Cooking oils and animal food should be used moderately. తక్కువ తీసుకోవాలి ఆయిల్స్ కానీ యానిమల్ ఫుడ్స్, చికెన్, మటన్ అలా పెద్ద డిష్ కనిపించినా మనకు కొద్దిగా మనసు అంటే లాగినా కూడా కంట్రోల్. వనస్పతి, ఘీ, బటర్, చీజ్ మస్ట్ బి యూజ్డ్ స్పారింగ్. అత్యంత అరుదుగా, అతి తక్కువగా తీసుకోవాలి. వై? బికాస్ దే ఆర్ వెరీ రిచ్ సోర్స్ ఫర్ ఫ్యాట్స్. ఓకే. సో గ్రోయింగ్ చిల్డ్రన్, ఆఫ్ కోర్స్ యూ రిక్వైర్ సమ్ sort of fats, but this vanaspati, ghee, butter, cheese, you may take sparingly, means very less. Avoid junk foods. In higher classes, we will learn more and more about the junk foods, but we will discuss here a little bit. If you are eating only pizzas and sandwiches, some person in the chat box also, what is your favorite food? Pizza. Okay, pizzas, burgers, sandwiches, or packaged food items daily. What will happen? Your body is being deprived of the other food substances. It means, imagine our body having alimentary canal or digestive tract or food tract. Through that food tract, so many small pores like structures are there. According to your 8th class, I am saying pores, but in 10th class standards, you may say that villi, small absorbents. Through that villi, digested food enters into our bloodstream. Okay. So, what will happen when you take these junk foods? These junk foods having so many preservatives or chemicals, they will closes all the villi, small pores on the villi. So what will happen? If any digested food is also there, that digested food does not enter into your bloodstream. You are eating, it is digesting, but it is not entering into your body. కొద్దిమంది అంటారు కదా, వాడు తింటాడు కానీ ఒంటికి వంట పట్టట్లేదని. ఒంటికి వంట పట్టట్లేదంటే లోపలికి ఎంటర్ కావట్లేదు. Why? Because junk food. So junk food causes damages to our digestive system. Okay. It is better to avoid eating junk food. Of course, you discussed this chapter in the 7th class. Now you are in the 8th class. Already you avoiding the junk food, even though if any 1 or 2 persons are there, even though they are taking junk food, please avoid the junk food. Not only for NMMS examinations, but also for your health. Okay. Food habits, generally we discuss in the 6th and 7th also. Food habits of the people depends upon climatic conditions and cultural practices of the particular place. We eat rice in large quantities. Why? Rice is growing abundantly in our area. But people living in North India eat chapatis as a daily food. Why? Because wheat is grown widely in that region. You go Punjab, UP, Haryana, Delhi, Maharashtra, Uttar Pradesh. What will happen? You see wheat crops everywhere. The way of cooking and eating food also reflects the cultural practice of the people. History of the food and nutrition. The founder of modern science of nutrition was Frenchman named Lavoisier, whose contribution paved new ways to nutrition research. In the year 1752, James Lind discovered scurvy, which could be cured or prevented by eating fresh fruits and vegetables. It means vitamins and minerals, they may remove the scurvy disease. Okay. So now we entered into the key point session. Carbohydrates, fibers, vitamins and minerals, proteins, fats, all these 5 elements are very, very important components of our food. Because of these 5 components, our food is called as balanced diet. Okay. And one more concept, testing of food components. We tested starch, fats, okay, and one more, proteins. Okay, right. Importance of source of fiber, important source of water, and avoid junk food. This is about our food components topic. And now I am stopping my sharing. Okay, and I am opening session for you. Yes, come on to the chart who are if any doubts, okay, discuss. Madam will unmute you. If any who are doubts, raise your hands. Madam will unmute you and we will discuss if any points are not discussed like earlier. Okay, madam? This is about my session.
Okay, sir.